and that's protection against having that knife close on my hand. Hey friends, my name is Jake. Welcome to Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we're taking a look at a tiny little Sanrenmu knife. This channel started reviewing Sanrenmu. The very first knife I reviewed was a Sanrenmu knife, one of their 700 series knives, and I've reviewed over 100 different Sanrenmu knives. Even before they started their SRM brand. Itchy nose. I got an itchy nose. I've been not well for the last week and a half or so, week, and especially the last 5 or 6 days. And yeah, so this video might not be as energetic as some of my videos, but we'll see. What was I saying? Yeah, a lot of Sanrenmu knives I've reviewed, and I buy the knives that I review for the most part, and the Sanrenmu knife is no exception, but it was dirt cheap. It was $3 US when I bought this. Now the price has gone up a little bit because in my unboxing video, they sold out very shortly afterwards on AliExpress, although you could pay a much more exorbitant fee on eBay if you want to. Now their current issue of this is $4.19 US for this knife, or its stonewash colored brother. That's about $7.30 Canadian with free shipping to Canada, free shipping to the United States. If you want to buy this on eBay, it's $14.50 American, almost 20 bucks Canadian. So AliExpress is the place to get this. This knife is a slip joint knife, and if you're in Canada, don't worry about this getting into Canada. It works just fine to cross the border into Canada. So come on to the tabletop and let's take a look at it. All right, here she is. It's a slip joint knife. It doesn't lock open. It's got a back spring. You can see this thing more easily than most. That's the back spring right there. And when you open the knife, the spring gives way a little bit until we get to the half stop, 3/4 stop, whatever you want to call it. And then it's got another stop at the open spot. And you can see how that works right there. And that holds it in place. Very simple, very easily done. This kind of slip joint knife, I think I can take it completely apart and easily put it back together again. And we'll do that later on in the video. Oh, if I don't have some deja vu with the 325 that I reviewed just a little while ago and could not put together. One of my viewers, I sent it to them. I haven't heard back yet if they got it together or not. Doesn't matter if they do or don't. They don't have to. I just was tired of it because my arthritis in my hands, something with this sick that I've got right now, it makes all of my arthritic joints feel a whole lot worse. Right now, today, they're not as bad, but that's a good thing. It's one of the reasons why I decided to make this video. But now I'm babbling on about other stuff. The knife. What do we got? Basically, it's well, it is a slip joint. It's a drop point blade, a little bit of a belly, nice sharpness choil there. We've got a hole that goes all the way through it instead of a traditional nail nick. Great for just pinching it, opening that knife. Works really well. You just pull it open. You can do it with one hand if you're skilled, and you won't cut yourself necessarily. And you can close it no problem. And it's got a long distance because of this bottle opener that they put into it before the cutting edge comes in to that spot. And so you can just slam it shut. Not a problem at all. That edge does not come in contact with anything. And badging. Model number right there. SB is for the black. 12C27 stainless steel. Nice stainless steel. And the Chinese logo for Sanrenmu. That's all the badging. We've got sort of this brassy color pivot pin, and that's the only other color on it. Thin edge here. I really like this. I'll do the measurements a little bit later on. And the body of this thing is just one sheet of steel. I think it's 12C13, 2C13 MOV. Which is a stainless steel, but it's got very low carbon. Doesn't matter because it's a handle. And it's just punched and pressed in one fell swoop. The back spring is integral to it. It's just a simple, well-made design bottle opener right there. And it works. I tested it on some bottles. Works just fine. Lanyard hole right there. And a little bit of an extra stamping here, both to give it rigidity and a little bit of a texture to it. Great. And like I said, you got this black wash finish. And it's nice. Before I try to take it apart, let's talk about this cutting edge. How sharp is it? It's pretty sharp and very useful. It's a keychain knife. That's how I carried it. That's how I carry a lot of knives like this. I got a number of keychain knives, a little box full, and I rotate between them. And especially a slip joint like this, it's totally simple and easy to use, non-threatening, and functional. It is a functional knife. Works just fine. So before I do the measurements, let's take this thing apart. This is going to be a T6 screw here. I've never taken this apart before. So it's happening on camera. And I'm doing this even before I've recorded the measurements and stuff because I am certain I'll be able to get this back together again. And let's see, there's a little bit of oil residue there. So they did leave some oil in it. And let's push this back pin out. Let's see, which way is it the tightest? That's fairly tight. That's somewhat tight. And that's not very, so I'm just trying to decide what position I'm going to have this in when I go to close it again. But what I can do on this one, which I couldn't do on the other ones, I can move that spring back simply by prying something in here and it'll pull it back and then it'll be much easier to put it back together again. So let's push the pivot pin out. And I can't do it without any tension on the blade, so I just have to sort of push it out. Oh, it's got a nice D-shaped pin to it. And I pulled back on that spring a little bit. Okay, yep, phosphor bronze washers, just like I thought it would have. Let's get one of those out. There you go. Nice phosphor bronze washers. And they lubricated them, and I can do that too. And that is all there is to it. It's a nice little knife. Very simple. Yeah, D-shaped right there, yep. Okay, I forgot to start recording it before. I'm trying to put it in. I'm just pulling that pin back a little bit. There we go. And let's get the blade in there. And push up. See how the back spring's moving up there? And I'm pushing up on the spring. There we go. Got it in. And let's get the other washer. Start to slide it in. I'm going to have to push that pin back just a little bit. Nope, got to go back a bit further. Yep, come on, pin. There you go. Get that washer in there. Hopefully I'm in the center of the screen. I'm not looking at my screen. And that's as simple as it is to put this back together again. And then I'm going to tighten this up. And that's all there is to it. Make it nice and tight, and then back it off just till it's going to hold it. That's a little too tight. Still a little tighter than I wanted it. Very good indeed. And that's all that it takes. Let me put my glasses back on so I can see my notes. And let's go over all the sizes, dimensions, measurements. 21 grams, 0.8 ounces, 0.8 ounces, not bad. How sharp was it? 220 bes. Not great, but quite good indeed. Not too far off of what I normally do. And cutting edge length, 40.8 millimeters, 1.61 inches. Blade length, tip to the closest spot on the handle, 44.7 millimeters, 1.76 inches. The thickness of the blade stock, 2.13 millimeters, 0.084, so a little under 1/10 of an inch. The blade depth, it's widest right at the heel of the blade, 14.4 millimeters, 0.567 of an inch. How thin is it right behind the edge grind? So on the main bevel, like I said, it's a full flat grind. On the main bevel, just before the sharpening edge, 0.28 millimeters, 11/1000 of an inch thick. The per side grind angles, ooh, this side's 17.3 degrees on average. This side's right around 20. Oh, I didn't do the math. It'll be on the screen exactly what that angle is. Started at 17.9, so 18 to 22.1, so 22. But 5.3 degrees of angle change. That's not great. This side, 17.2 to 17.4, so 17.3 degrees. Not bad. I'd probably sharpen this thing, since this side's right at 17. I might do each 17 per side, at least the first time I sharpen it. I might do it less later on. But it's a decent, for this little knife, you don't need to have, a big, broad 20 degree per side angle. Well, I hardly ever do that anyway on modern steel knives. Going on to the rest of the measurements. The handle length, this way, 67.1 millimeters, 2.64 inches. I pinched myself right up here, right where this comes together. Not hard, just enough to surprise me. That's what the quick hand movement was. Grip area here is just over 6 centimeters, just under 2.5 inches, which is plenty. Oh, by the way, I didn't show it before. This flat area here, I grip it right there when I've been doing most of my cutting, and that's protection against having that knife close on my hand. If you grip it back here, it still might, but it's not gonna, I'm pushing pretty hard. If you can see the dent on my finger there. It's a fairly safe, for slip joint, it's a very safe little knife. At least I think so. I should have said that earlier, shouldn't I? Yeah, oh well. Anyhow, measurements, what was I saying? The thickness of the handle up here on this part, 5.1 millimeters, that's 0.2 of an inch. And the knife depth, or the handle depth this way, the widest point is right back here. That's this measurement. 16.3 millimeters, 0.64 of an inch. When the knife is closed, the widest point's right up here. 17.9 millimeters, 0.7 of an inch. And the total length of this thing is 111.6 millimeters, which is 4.39 inches. I was going to show opening a bottle on the video, but I don't have any bottles at home right now. Like pop bottle, beer bottles. I don't drink beer, or very rarely drink beer. I'm just not a big beer fan. And I've been drinking much less soda or pop or Coke, whatever you call it where you live, in the last, 5-6 months, just cutting down tremendously. And I don't know if you can see it on my face. I'm losing a little bit of weight, so that's good. But it works. And it works fairly well. Hangs on a keychain, doesn't add a lot of weight to your keychain. Easy carry, decent cutting edge. Nice flat area up here that you can clamp onto if you're using a guided sharpening system to sharpen. Sharpener's choil is very good. It's a nice little knife. I'm quite happy with it. If I had a laser engraver, I'd probably buy a whole bunch of these and put Canadian Cutting Edge on, this raised section right here, and make these one of the giveaways, because the price to buy these is so inexpensive. I didn't check if it's on Alibaba. Alibaba is a store where you're going to buy stuff in bulk, like if you've got a small business or something. But AliExpress is the place for consumers to get this knife, and it's dirt cheap. $4.19 was what I said, US, $7.30 Canadian, with free shipping in Canada. Like, you can hardly ship anything in Canada for that price. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Thank you to those of you who support the channel. And thank you for sticking around and watching all the way to the end. I appreciate it. And remember, friends, cut towards your chum, not your thumb.